So the portable organizer was a concept that was developed by Yongjian, Saiesh, Andrew, and me. I'm Mitch, and this was for the FEDD 3D printing project this past fall. So the way that we came up with it was through the engineering design cycle. So the problem that we were given with, the kind of prompt that they gave us was, how would you want, or what product would you want on vacation that you can't have now, basically. It was something relevant to vacation, either to like the mountains or the beach, anything like that. So our original idea was like a flotation device with cup holders, a phone jack, and sound amplifiers. But we decided that even though it might be like a cool idea, it wouldn't be very like application based. Um, so in our second version, we decided that we wanted to make it more of like a workspace oriented device with stuff like pen holders, a key slot, sticky note holders, and like a phone jack. And then in order to kind of like test out our idea and see if people would like be okay with it, we shared the solution with fellow engineers, and like we tested the demand and the popularity and how people would like accept our idea, and we got good feedback, so we decided to run with the idea.
And in our project, we had a few challenges. Our first challenge was what design software to use. So we considered a variety of software such as SolidWorks or other CAD softwares, but eventually we decided to use Tinkercad. It is a free website and uses shapes to create a design. It was easy to learn and work in, so that was the software we chose to use. Another challenge we had was with our first design. First we're going to make a phone holding like flotation device that would function as like a speaker and allow it to be charged. But yeah, it had to be within a 6-inch cube to work with the printers in the makerspace at NC State, and we had a basic design for it, but it was actually hard to make our idea into something that would be functional that we could actually print. And we considered making multiple separate moving parts, but we thought that'd be too complicated. So we eventually switched ideas and made a second design as seen below. The design fit in the printers, and it still had the required functionalities. So the design instead had a phone holder, pen holder, key holder, and a notepad. So one final challenge was actually making our design into a finished product. So we used a makerspace in the library, which required a workshop to use, and at the time we decided to print, it was very full. So it took some time to find available printers at the makerspace, as it's a very busy time of the semester. So our design also took multiple prints to use. So our first couple didn't look the way we wanted. So it took multiple prints to get our final product the way we wanted it, but we eventually succeeded before the required deadline.
So speaking of 3D printing, it also comes with many pros and cons. So we faced many pros while 3D printing. The good things about 3D printing and it's cost effective. Other than that, the resources and materials are easily available for printing. Speaking of makerspace at NC State, they have great printing services over there, which helps us to print 3D materials for our projects and stuff. Then the parts are very lighter and stronger, which helps the durability of the project. Other than that, we can always customize our stuff according to our needs. So speaking of the cons, 3D printing has many cons also, such as it consumes more time. For speaking of our project, it took us around something 8 hours to print our project. Other than that, they are very size restricted because 3D printings can only print up to some size. Other than that, when you have 3D printing, it comes with the copyright issues, like people can easily clone or copy your design or something like that, and there are many risks of wastage of products too. Other than that, speaking of the research component, our main aim was to keep on updating the design to get the best user experience. So moreover, keep on updating your design will always help you to reach towards your final product. It also keeps your accessories intact at one place. The organizer can also hold up to like 3 to 4 things such as the user's phone, keys, post-it, and up to 3 pens.
So about the advice to next year freshman about their project, the first advice I would say is look through plenty of examples and come up with a creative design, because you have to know what is a 3D printing, what does a 3D printer do, and the second one is prepare the FEDD project as early as possible because the due date would be faster than you think. So always prepare earlier would be best to your team, and don't be afraid of asking question about anything on the FEDD projects. There are lots of questions about where you can use the 3D printer and what kind of materials you would use. So you can ask these kinds of questions from your instructors and read and follow the instructions. You should know what you should do at the project and what you should present at the FEDD day. So and the last two is you would want to meet with good members at least once a week and always work with your teammates because in that ways your teammates could always give you advice and keep everything updated. And the last one would be keep confident. And this is the references and work we cited from internet.
On FED Day, our group placed 7th, which wasn't exactly what we wanted, but it was still a good learning experience and still something that we can take and use in the future.